Corporation. And a few years ago, Midland Development Corporation, Answers Marketing, Midland College, UT Permian Basin, Second Story, we all got together and we were thinking, we keep talking to a lot of business owners, and it is really hard to run a business. And we think that a lot of these business owners could get a lot from connecting with one another, from just having that commonality of, hey, are you having a hard time with this? Oh, yes, me too. And that way it can kind of give you the energy to keep going and to pursue different challenges and get through things. And so that is why we started Founders Blend. And so it's something that happens once a month, and it's put together for free. It's open to the public, and the whole goal is to connect entrepreneurs. It's blending founders. See what we did there? And so this whole morning, you will get to hear from two businesses, and they're going to share a little short and sweet background on their business. And then a majority of the time will be spent doing a Q&A. And so I'll ask them questions, and then I want you guys to be brainstorming questions that you want to ask them as well. And if you are shy and you don't want to raise your hand and ask a question, well, don't worry. You can text a phone number that will be rolling on here. It's my personal phone number, so just don't be weird. Just text me a question, and I will sort through those as I am emceeing and interviewing and asking you guys questions, our business presenters. And so you can send your questions through that platform. But before we get started here, did you notice how I said this is a free and open to the public event? And that is not a coincidence. That is thanks to community partnership, people volunteering their time, and then also local businesses donating and giving us coffee. For instance, Scooter's Coffee, that's a local franchise owner. She's been to Founders Blend multiple times, so she donated coffee for this. And then Midland College's BEDC program, they helped to sponsor the food this morning. So that is all thanks to them. And if you're thinking, hey, I've got a small business and I love this, I want to sponsor future Founders Blend events, well, you are in luck. Just reach out to us on our website and we can get you plugged in to make you a sponsor for future months. Okay, well, I think I've hit basically everything here. Before we get started, you're going to notice that there's a QR code up here. If you could grab your phones and you can scan that and sign in, that way we can get you on mailing lists for future Founders Blend events and things of that nature. And then also, once you got that scanned in, we'll go to my phone number here. And this will also be pulled up during the questions, and that's the number that you can text your questions to. How's that work? You all ready to go this morning?
Yes.
Post-election, you got that coffee, that caffeine is hitting your veins and everything? Okay, well, good. Okay, well, here is a little background on our first business that we are going to hear from. Meet Drew and Rustin, the dynamic duo behind Midland Pizza Factory. With a shared passion for crafting delicious, high-quality pizzas, they've been serving the community with creativity and dedication. So whether it's experimenting with bold flavors or ensuring every slice is perfect, their commitment to excellence has made Midland Pizza Factory a local favorite. Drew and Rustin, come on.
Hello. Hello. We stand for this, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Take it away.
Let's see. There we go. So my journey with MD Pizza began when I was 14. I started working there in high school, and then in 2021, it started as a business opportunity for me. I was in the process of buying a home, and so I took a huge risk, and here we are.
Volume, put the mic up.
Oh.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Some of my initial hurdles were, honestly, I was there at the shop. I was at the shop 24/7. So my biggest obstacles were limited time and resources. And so I was so focused on just getting through the shift and not really focused on planning actual business. And then, whew, man, there's a lot of people.
Breathe. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Woo.
But so then Rustin Hicks, he's the founder of Tall City Delivery. So it was a no-brainer to partner with him. So the beginning of my pizza journey, Rustin reached out to me and it was like wanting to partner with me. And so it just became, it was just easy for me to partner with him, and it was honestly a great opportunity for me.
Yeah, when I was working Tall City Delivery, that was my very first business. Drew was a young kid working at MD Pizza, and MD Pizza was one of the first business partners of mine that gave me a chance to launch Tall City Delivery. And so I watched Drew grind since he was 14, and so then when I saw that he had the business, I reached out to him and wanted to work with him.
Outside of working on systems and developing our pizza production, one of my biggest things was going to pizza conventions and going to food conventions to see what I can implement in the business, in a sense, to help with pizza productions as volume is starting to increase. So Rustin and I were born in Midland, Texas, so it creates the perfect atmosphere to grow a business. So we're locally owned, locally operated, locally built by our community. And so when customers walk in, they're greeted by first name basis, and so that creates a great family environment and a memorable experience for customers, at least, in my opinion. Oh my gosh, delivery. So one of our biggest bottlenecks in the beginning was our pizza oven. So it was a stone pizza oven, and no matter how good the food was, it was like an hour to 2 hour wait. And so from our bottleneck from being an oven, we bought a brand new oven. It was kind of like a classic stone oven where it meets technology. And so we bought that. That helped me control quality. It helped me control labor, everything. And so just recently, 2 months ago, we just purchased another oven. And so that's drastically lowered our wait times from the first oven from an hour down to like 20 minutes. And so now we can produce a pizza within 8 minutes. And so that's been a really good bottleneck. So now our next bottleneck is actually delivery. Right now we're the first and only platform, or first and only restaurant on every single platform. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Favor, Delivery.com, Slides, we're on every single platform. And so now delivery is going to be our next bottleneck because now we're ahead of delivery. So now on busy nights, we have 10 plus, 15 plus orders ready at all times. And so now trying to get drivers in and out pretty quick is, I think, our struggle right now. And so from store to door is that's our biggest goal right now, store to door. So outside of everything we've worked on in the past, so we really redesigned the whole pizza line. And so pizza production before was old school, it was a mom and pop shop. And so we kind of took that mom and pop shop and made it like a legit business. And so everything from left to right, we increased our pizza production. We added a dough stretcher, we added a digital ticketing system. Everything that we've implemented has helped us produce the pizza pretty quick. We could stretch a pizza within 1 minute, and get a pizza out within 1 to 2 minutes. And so rebranding, we got a brand new POS system, and so that's helped us with our rebranding. It's gave us the best in-class ordering module, and also helping us rebrand from MD Pizza to Midland Pizza Factory. And our partnership initially intended to be a 50-50 partnership, and so we decided that would not be the move, and so now I'm majority owner, and so that turned out to be a great decision. And so working with a local photographer, Steven, he's helped us with our web presence and rebranding our pizza boxes, and so now we have professional photos, everything, and so that's been a really good help in turning our mom and pop shop to a legit business. And so our growth formula is pretty simple: fast click times, and that's done with the ovens, high quality pizza, going to food conventions and food shows, and just working on customer service, honestly. I mean, those three things are our growth formula, and those are the keys to success, in my opinion. And so our next move is to try to get our brand mobile and do pizza by the slice. And so go to events and go to late night hot spots or going up to where the customers are. And so that's where we're at. Oh man, good job.
You did great. You did great, Drew. You know, it's funny, I meet with businesses like yourself, and we had a great conversation. I'm like, he's not shy, he's so personable, he's gonna be fabulous. And then you ask these business owners to come up here and present, and they're like, what? I don't know about that. You did great. You did great. Well, Drew, before we dive into your business, I want to ask you a quick question. You kind of brushed over this, but you had worked at this franchise or this store before you took over as an owner since 14.
Yes, ma'am. So I started there. I was 14. That was my first job actually, and so I started working there at 14. I put myself through college. I worked there 7 years. I was working at Midland College. I was working at Abercrombie, and I was working at MD Pizza. And so 7 days a week for years, I was busy. Monday through Friday, I was working at MD Pizza, 4 to 9, 4 to 10. Saturday, Sunday, honestly, and at some points I didn't even have a car, and so it's kind of like one of those things you just make it work. And so I worked at Abercrombie in the mall, and so I'd work from like 8 up until like 3:30, and I'd walk across the loop straight to the pizza shop and head to work.
Yeah, and the original owners are Matt and Diana. They're pretty involved in the community, so some of you guys might know them, but they're really good people. But Drew was their secret weapon.
Yeah.
And they knew that, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, now that owning the business, I really understand how much they love me because, yeah, seriously, because now, we have 10 employees, and when I worked there, they fired everyone, and it was just me, Matt, and Diana. So you can imagine how cheap their payroll was. I remember working there only getting paid $8 an hour, and so now we have a staff. It's a, whew. They love me.
So now you're like, I'm just looking for another Drew.
Yeah,
another
Drew
with that work ethic. And I mean, you also had a unique opportunity because just on your background, you really sought mentorship from these previous owners, and it sounds like, kind of guided you to what it is like being a business owner. And so you saw that road and that possibility, and then when you showed interest in being an owner, you felt like you could do it.
Yeah, so initially they told me they didn't want to sell it to anyone besides me.
Wow.
And if I didn't purchase it, that they would just close it down and just pretty much just get rid of everything. And so since I took interest in it, they were like, this is great, because for them, MD Pizza was their baby, their first baby. And so they didn't want to see it just be shut down and change to something different. And so continuing their legacy was ideal for them. And so now it's just grown into such an amazing opportunity for me. And so super blessed, thankful.
And not to put you on the hot seat here, right? You're pretty young. And so they were confident, even so, in doing that. Okay, well now, speaking of your age, let's talk about what it's like running a business, a food business, and being on all the apps and having all the technology. I mean, the both of you probably deal with the headaches of technology and delivering systems on a daily basis.
I feel like this is an advantage for me, honestly, because every other business owner, the apps, the online, all the technology isn't something that anyone else is worried about. But if you aren't staying ahead with technology, you're falling behind. And so being on all the platforms is essential. It's more about exposure and creating a second, third, fourth, fifth business in a sense, because every single platform that you're on has a dedicated and loyal fan base. And so whether it be DoorDash, if you're on DoorDash, you only use DoorDash. If you're on Uber Eats, you only use Uber Eats. So if you aren't available on every single platform, you're missing out on a loyal customer. And that's what we're here for, is loyalty.
Yeah. And Rustin, walk me through, what is it like being a partner behind a business? Sometimes you find that it's very common to have multiple people behind a business. What has that been like?
Yeah, so when I showed up, Drew was really just muscling through it. I mean, he was open all day, 7 days a week. He didn't really have much help. He didn't have good technology, or he didn't even have a ticketing system.
We were
still handwriting tickets.
Oh,
Handwriting tickets. We talked about the oven earlier, but I tell this story. I mean, one time I walked into the kitchen, and he's teaching one of his new employees how to work the oven, and he's got these pickle jar lids as representing pizzas, and he's showing them, okay, the first pizza goes in this corner, and the second pizza comes in, this one comes over here to this corner, and then you move this one to here, and then I'm lost in the fourth pizza, I'm out of there, and so I was like, this is way too hard. So that's when we kind of decided to get the pizza oven, and then I remember you stretching every pizza by hand at night, pounding them.
I was the only one in the building that could stretch.
Yeah.
And so that was huge.
So it was one thing at a time. A pizza stretcher we got from my buddy in California, who also runs pizza shop. So my background has been, I've learned a lot about a lot of different restaurants, and I've always kind of been surface level because I do the online ordering, delivery, and I'm always really, I kind of have my pedigree in restaurant technology, and but Drew gave me an opportunity to actually start implementing it, and becoming a co-owner of an actual restaurant. So I got to be inside the four walls with Drew, and that's really what I was looking for, is an opportunity to do that. So I had learned a lot in my first business, muscling through those first years, and I thought, okay, if I can bring just one thing at a time. We got Toast POS, and we were able to use that to aggregate all the delivery services. They all just come into our point of sales. To where we're not looking at 5 different tablets, even though we are on all the apps. They all just come right into our Toast system. We were able to outsource the phones too, so that we're not just constantly on the phone. And that's the next thing that we're really excited about, because we've been vetting AI phone answering, and they're always, it's been this. They weren't very good 2 years ago. So, but now we've been testing it this week, and it's kind of incredible, and there's no hold. No one's ever on hold, because they can do 50 calls at once.
Wow.
But we were drilling it last night. We were asking it, okay, what wheat flavors do I have? Can I do a half this pizza and half, no, change this pizza to this pizza.
Wow.
We were just giving it everything we could to try to mess it up, and it really was not messing up. So,
It's great, just because it's we used to have someone standing there answering their phone just to get it wrong, one of my employees.
Just to get it wrong.
Yeah, just to get it wrong. And so the human error in that is significant. So when the customer is coming and picking up their half pizza and they got only cheese, and it's well, for me, I'm I'm looking at the ticket. It started wrong in the beginning. And so getting rid of our phones ringing helped us focus all of our labor on pizza production, because that's what we get paid for. It's pizza production. So focusing on pizza and everything it's been a lifesaver. Every time he comes in, he's watching me work, and he's like,
I was working that last night though.
Yeah, he was. he watches me work, and he's just like, what are you doing? Is that how you do it? Oh, okay. And then a week will go by, and then he's like, hey man, I got this new company, got to set up on a Zoom call next week, jump on the call, and we're gonna figure out our phones, and so this week actually that was that call. And so now we have the AI phones, and so I always tell customers,
I'm gonna put that to the test.
Yeah, no, seriously. I always tell customers, if they had a bad experience, or if they've had problems in the past, even if it was a year ago, 2 years ago, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, yesterday, always keep coming back, because we're always investing back into the business. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that's led to our success.
Yeah, and you also touched a little bit about
exploring a slice mode versus a full pizza mode. How's that going?
It's just up in the air right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's another way to just work on branding.
Yeah.
You know, going to hotspot events, pulling up to customers, because essentially, yes, a brick and mortar is great, but we have a lot of catering orders. So now it's like we will be able to have the opportunity to, be reserved and booked and go out to locations or anywhere and just do pizza by the slice.
Yeah, the idea is like a food truck or a food trailer, but we're going to be by the slice out of that thing, and that'll help us not have a full kitchen in the truck, so we can kind of pre-make pizzas and then fire the slices on location. But the idea there is we don't see a lot of people doing by the slice here with anybody anymore. I know there used to be Luca Pizza in the mall, and loved those slices, but I don't really know anyone doing a big giant slice anymore. We've got giant slices, so we thought, hey, let's do by the slice. Let's do it on a food truck. That'll be, all the money we spend on that will be marketing, because people will see us around town. We'll get our brand out there, and when you eat one of our slices, you're gonna love our brand after that. So let's take the slices to the people,
Yeah. And speaking of branding, when I met with you this spring, it was Midland Pizza Factory, and now it's MD Pizza. Walk me through that.
So initially, it's MD Pizza Factory.
Okay, MD Pizza Factory.
MD stood for Matt and Diana.
Yeah, and then I told everybody, well, now it stands for me and Drew.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah. And so rebranding to Midland Pizza Factory was just a no-brainer, because everyone thought MD stood for Midland. And so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, what does MD stand for? Does it stand for Midland? I'm like, yeah, it stands for Midland. And so then it was like Midland Pizza Factory.
And that was our website URL that we got, was Midland Pizza Factory. So we just decided let's brand it as that. And so we're kind of still in the
we're slowly.
we still got our MD Pizza logos, So it's kind of new to try to. We're slowly turning it into Midland Pizza Factory, but we like the name Midland being in it.
Yeah.
I think it really helps.
Love Midland.
Yeah. That's true, and they love pizza.
They love local pizza too.
Yeah. And something that was interesting is just the investment that you put into the quality of your ingredients. You really harped on, you are a strong believer in, if you have a customer that tries your pizza, they will return. But that starts from the sauce, from the dough, from everything, from going to conventions and trying a whole bunch of different things. And I mean, you've been exposed to a lot of pizzas the past decade, so you've got a particular palate.
It's funny because the very first words out of my photographer's mouth, he was looking at me and he saw a picture of me in the restaurant and he was like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's when I bought the place." He was like, "Man, you gained weight." I was like, "Okay, can you take the pictures, please?" But honestly, it was going to these food events, like even Rustin Briggs came down and I was like, "Try this cheese."
Yeah.
It sounds so weird, but it was like, "Try this cheese."
Yeah, we tried cheese last
I was
night.
like, "Try this, try the cheese, try the wings, try the sauce, try everything." And so everything on the menu, in my opinion, it's like I'm going against all the big guys. I don't have all the resources, or financial or anything. So it's like, if I can just work on what I can, work on one thing at a time, work at the core basics, from the flour to the cheese, the sauce, the toppings. And if I can guarantee that it's the highest quality pizza, then, it's like, then we have something valuable, And you kind of have to like keep doing this over and over and over. It may not make money or sense, but, you kind of gain traction. And so, that's why we're here today.
Yeah, so Drew's always adding. I told him the other day, the only thing that's the same is to be honest, that since Matt and Diane had it, is the dough. Because they've had this classic great dough. I don't know if anybody remembers Dino's Pizza, but it's actually the same dough recipe, because that their families were together, or they were families.
So it started, Dino's. So if you're from Midland, then if you know history, so then it has some history. So it started as Dino's. His name was Josh. And so Josh at Dino's, he was family with Matt and Diana. And so they pretty much copy and pasted, they were first located off Rankin Highway by Chavez Tires, and then they relocated where we're at now. And so everything, like the sauce, the garlic butter, like the dough.
Well, the garlic butter's still the same.
Yeah.
Those breadsticks are still the exact same. You can't change that recipe. But almost everything else about the pizza you've changed and improved, and it's truly a lot better since when I walked in.
And yeah, now we're just like getting it down to a science. Like it went from just being a mom and pop shop, and now getting down to a science, like how much sauce goes on a pizza. Because before it was just like a pound of sauce, pound of cheese, pound of toppings, but now it's like, no, like I want the customers to experience well balanced, high quality pizza, handcrafted. So,
And every single time.
I am a perfectionist. So at the shop, I am like dialed in, zoned in. I have high expectations because my customers do. So, yeah.
Any exploration on gluten-free options?
We have cauliflower. And so I think last year, actually, I went to a food convention and I tried 17 different gluten-free options in the cauliflower crust I have now.
17 different gluten-free options.
I'm being serious. So like these conventions, it's like people really shoving food down your throat. And so it's like, but for me, I'm like, I like it because it's like, I'm not going to sell it if I don't stand by the product.
Yeah.
Whether I like gluten-free or anything like that, I want to try it because when I give it to a customer, I want to make sure that I stand by the product. So it's like, that's more important for me than anything. And so when it goes to these food events and everything, I'm just like, what's the best? And even then, it's like maybe the best isn't even good. So there's some things where it's like, it's just name brand, and that's what makes it expensive. But yeah, our cauliflower is amazing. It has like a garlicky flavor. It's really good, really good.
And I mean, something unique about you guys is the fact that you have adopted new technologies and you're ever evolving. You are constantly learning, you're figuring out other ways that people are doing things and adopting it. And that is something that we're starting to see more mom and pop shops do, is adapting to that technology and bringing it on board. Do you have any plans at all for mentoring other business owners or explaining to other business owners the benefit of incorporating that technology? I mean, I think of the AI. How many of you here that resonated with you? Oh, wait, what if I implemented something like that?
So honestly, it's more about being consistent. So that's what our biggest goal with technology is. Whether it was the oven initially was not so much to help pizza production, but more so to control quality, right? So I had to be in the back to make sure that your pizza wasn't burnt, or the stretchers to make sure that the pizza wasn't stretched too thin or too thick, then it would be raw or burnt, so the phones were great. So now that our call center at first right now, she's still at 100% accuracy rate. And then with the AI that we're going to implement in the following weeks, it will be amazing because there's no wait time or anything like that. So as soon as you call, someone's going to answer. What else? We have a kiosk in the lobby. I'm not sure why other businesses don't have all this, because it's like, you have the kiosk. It's a fun way to display your menu. That's one less employee, and it's like, it's just a no-brainer. And I do talk to other business owners, and I try to let them know like what I'm doing. And it's like, but for them, they're like where I'm at or I was. It was like they're just worried about getting through the shift. They're worried about right now, and that's the problem. Is if you can't look at your business from a standoff approach, then you're gonna be stuck where you're at.
I mean, that's so hard to look at your business from a standoff approach. I mean, I feel like there's so many parallels behind, having kids and having your own business. And when the business is doing great, you're doing great. When kids are doing bad, you're doing bad. And it's hard to kind of be hands off and let other people control or take accountability for what they're doing. How do you do that?
Honestly, 7 days a week. 365.
Yeah.
I'm still there every day.
It's a lot easier now with everything we've implemented, technology, and honestly, it's like where we're at right now. It's like we have 5 employees, 5 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's just a 5 hour shift. So before it was only, or it was like an all day event. It was like I'm there 14 plus hours a day. So now it's like we come in, it's just a 5 hour shift, and it's insanely busy.
A lot of the thing I've thought about is how to make the job easier to do and kind of more enjoyable while you're there because, man, when you're stretching a pizza with your knuckles and, watching every pizza in the oven and then, things get burning and the whole tickets are piling up, it's a really stressful environment, right? And then it's hard for anyone that isn't an owner to really sit in that environment and be there. So everything we've done, I mean, the oven, just to kind of let y'all know what the oven is, it's a conveyor oven, right? Like the belt oven, but it's a stone conveyor. So it's like still stone baked oven, but it's easy to use, right? You just put it on there, and Drew's got it dialed in, so all the pizzas come out perfectly, but it's easy to use, right? The stretcher makes a pizza easy to stretch. Drew's got like a new flat bottom ladle that makes it easy to sauce. Everything is about trying to, it was really hard to make a pizza when we first got started, but over time it's getting easier and easier to work in our shop. And I think that's led to employee retention. And that means we've got some employees that have been there for 2 years, right? And those 2-year employees are the way Drew's gonna get out of that shop, right? And an easy to make pizza, that's still great. And retain employees is kind of the path to not having to be there every day.
Maintaining employees, that's the key there, maintaining employees. And it helps when you've been an employee there and you know, hey, well, this is what makes it a good place to work and a bad place to work. We're going to wrap it up here. Any questions from the audience? You guys have texted me so many great questions. I encourage you, if I didn't ask one of those questions you texted, they are going to stick around here afterwards and ask them those questions. This is what it's all about, is making those connections. But any quick questions in the audience? This will be our final question. Yes. Well, first off, I am so glad that you were here on a Wednesday morning, first thing. The entrepreneurs are getting younger and younger. Can you repeat your question? Did you two ever fight as business partners, and did that delay anything?
No,
Not yet.
That was a great question. Well, thank you guys so much. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then this is for you guys. We didn't bring too much.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
There you go. Thank you.
Wasn't that great? Isn't that technology aspect so interesting? I encourage you, if you haven't already been there, to go check that out. Go see what that kiosk is like. All right. Well, the next business you are going to hear from, meet Texas Avenue Gifts, Tag Midland. Co-founder Elizabeth Moore. Elizabeth is a third-generation Midlander with a passion for gift giving and developing relationships with others in her community. She has a proven track record of success in business, but her biggest joy/success in life is her family, with husband of 20 years, Todd, and their 3 children, Claire, Kate, and Jude. Without further ado, Elizabeth.
Good morning. I'm getting over a head cold, so I do have a little bit, and I was up late last night. But I'm eager to be here. Thank you, Sammy and Angel, and everyone who's here today, especially my husband back there taking a picture of me right now. Thank you so much. I've loved him over half my life, and he's supported me through all my endeavors, so thank you for being here. Okay, right, so Tag Midland, Texas Avenue Gifts was, we opened our doors on September 10th, so we're still a fairly new business. Here's our storefront right here, as you will see, 2103 We're on Texas Avenue, as is the name, and our logo is a gift tag, so it's kind of, I guess, I don't know if double entendre is the right word, but anyways, so that's our logo. We own the building, my family, just a little bit of history. My family bought the building located on the southwest corner of Texas and N Street. It's right across the street from St. Anne's, which is my church community, and my kids go to school there. But anyways, we bought the building across the street, and we have 3 addresses at this location. They're all owned by our family business. We have the UPS store there, which is 2101 Texas, Tag Midland, which is 2103 Texas, and then we have 107 North N Street, which is actually the entrance into our family offices. I have an office, my mom and dad both work out of there. We have a kitchen, a hangout room, which is actually really convenient with 2 of my children at St. Anne's. So it's just been a real labor of love. When we opened the UPS store and put our family offices in the back, we had this 1,000 square foot space, and we're like, well, what are we gonna do? And I was at a career change in my life. I have a background in pharmaceutical sales for 5 years in Dallas, and then major gift officer. I was a fundraiser for a policy think tank in Austin. I did that for over 5 years, so I feel like I had these different life experiences. I wanted to get into gift giving. I don't know if you've researched it like I have, probably not. But it actually helps release serotonin in your brain. So typically people who are either giving or receiving gifts are happy people. And so that's just where I was in my life. I want to be a happy person. And Texas Avenue Gifts is truly my family and I's happy place. So that's it. Come see us. Next slide. I kind of talked about this already. What is TAG? Texas Avenue Gifts is a family-owned and operated unique gift boutique located on Texas Avenue in Midland and featuring a selection of curated gift lines. Hashtag Tag Midland. You'll see that a lot in our marketing. It's part of our branding. What is our mission? And I talked a little bit about this. It's to open and operate a local gift shop or retail business near downtown Midland. We saw a need, especially since Graham's closed down. I don't know if y'all ever went to Graham's, but man, I miss that free gift wrap and just that selection of gifts. We're much smaller right now, but when they closed, we saw a need. Featuring carefully curated gift lines and a beautiful, friendly, and welcoming atmosphere while helping our customers and friends who buy gifts for any occasion. Our aim is to keep our products and marketing fresh, ever evolving with the seasons and with the market, while prioritizing the trust of our customers and respect of fellow businesses in our market. Okay, that's all I'm going to read. But I felt like it's important for me to lay that out there because I think it's very important when you're new in the business, just like we are, to have a good plan. Failure to plan is a plan fail. So anyway, so we do have a very clear vision, and this is what it is. Next slide, please. Okay, so what's it been like running a business in Midland? So far, so great. Like I told you, I don't know, I met with Sammy, I met with others in the community who have given me great ideas. I remember Sammy said, when I met with her, I had all these ideas, and I'm a creative, so I'm, all over the place. But Sammy said, how do you eat an elephant? I said, I don't know, Sammy. She said, one bite at a time. So that's what I've been doing. And so every day is a new challenge, a new opportunity to learn, and I certainly have been doing that. I guess why we're here, how do we relate to other businesses? I'm just going to share with you a few things that I've done and that I'm finding some success for here at the beginning. Of course, by joining groups like Founders Blend, meeting with other business owners. Like today, Drew said, you got to get on all platforms. First of all, I want pizza now. And I'm really thinking about a collab at TAG with one of our pop-ups. So I'll find you after the meeting. But yes, you have to get on all platforms. I'm so glad that he pointed that out. I have been resistant. I got off Facebook about 8 years ago. It was just something personal. It just got a little bit too inflammatory for me personally. But my friend was like, you're missing out. And she was right. I got on Facebook and I've met friends that I see here that have been in store already, who are repeat customers already because I'm on Facebook. So good point, Drew. Thank you for pointing that out. And then also, I think it's important just to adopt an attitude that advocates for other small businesses. Oh, I need to hurry. Because, if we lift each other up, look for other ways to collab, it's only going to benefit our community. Next slide. Also remember that there's media outlets out there, both paid and unpaid, that it's important to access. I've had people in my business because they saw this article. It was a great article by B.K. Richter, and she was amazing. She gave us a profile in MRT, so I've had people come in through that. I've also joined the Scout Guide, so I'm doing their favorite things market. It's the Monday and Tuesday following Thanksgiving, and that's just the first event for, the whole year through that I'll be afforded by that membership. So just looking for ways to collaborate with both paid and unpaid media is also something that's always ever present in our mind. And I only have like 2 more. Okay, so this is my daughter and my dog, and they are the inspiration for, and my other 2 children. I just I don't have a picture of this cute right now in our store with them. But I think that, I don't know, not everybody in our circle has kids, but they have dogs, or not everybody has dogs, but they have kids. And I don't know, just who do we buy gifts for? And why are we buying gifts, and why is that important? And then that's where you develop the relationship, because whether it's been in pharmaceutical sales in Dallas, which is a very competitive market, let me tell you, but I developed relationships, and with major gift officers, I developed relationships, and it's just all about getting to know a person, figuring out what makes them tick, and how you can relate to that, and then developing a relationship from the very first time they come in your building, because you only get one time to make that first impression. So I think my mom always told me that. And then finally, also, I think I skipped over one thing. Sorry, I saw the timer. We're doing pop-ups, so we're collaborating. We have 2 in November. One with Our Scripted Life. It's a calligrapher, stationer, engraver, and then another one with Yard Fetty Midland. And these are both businesses that'll help us get ready for Christmas. And then in December, we have one with White House Table Company. And like I mentioned before, we have a building, and in the back we have a conference room that when we have these pop-up shops, at least once a month, maybe twice a month, we'll open those up and have the pop-up shop and feature these other businesses that we may not carry every day, but we'll do collabs with throughout the year. And that's just another way to, blend, blend ideas, founders, yeah.
Blending minds.
Blending minds, blending businesses,
Yep.
That's right. Blending minds, excuse me. Yes, and accurate. Thank you so much.
Great. I like that, Elizabeth. I liked that.
Oh yeah, I've already closed Angel on this last slide because I didn't know how to do a QR code. I have my master's in mass communications, but I did my master's thesis on newspapers.
So I feel like Drew could help you out
Yeah.
with all of this technology.
Yeah, and Angel said he could help me with the Square platform, so it's already benefiting me.
Awesome.
So thank you, Sammy, and yeah, thank you everyone again.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I loved getting to go into your store and just seeing, I love seeing a rundown building get a facelift. And so I have loved seeing that transform. Something that stuck out to me the most about your story is you just needed a lifestyle change. You had been working from home for a while, and you weren't necessarily super happy working, and you thought, something has got to change. What was the final push where you're like, I've got to just take a leap of faith and do this?
Sure. I think sometimes your life leads you in directions And you get into situations with jobs because you're good at it and not because you're necessarily like passionate about it. And so you start to become like the focus starts to become meeting your goals and not necessarily like, and those somehow get out of sync with what your personal goals are. So when I work from home, for instance, that was really hard for me because I was like doing laundry when I should have been working, and then working at night when I should have been doing laundry. And like my kids would look at me all the time, and I was always emailing or returning a phone call or returning a text. And while I was really good at, and I felt like I was making a difference, my family life was suffering. And so it's not easy to put down something that you've invested a lot of years into and like start something new. But that leap of faith and that opportunity to be your own boss and create your own dream, your own situation, your own boundaries, like it's amazing. Like being a founder is like truly inspirational. Like I don't even think of it as work. Like it's become a part of like, my kids are like, Mom, this is really cool. And like from a 16-year-old, like that's awesome.
That's big stuff.
Yes. And like my 12-year-old who's very much she's much more like, I don't know if y'all have done the love languages quiz, but actually gift giving is not my love language. It's physical touch. And I think it's just that, personal connection with people. So I think that I was missing out on that to bring it back to why I got into it. Working from home, especially with COVID, I don't know if any one of you worked from home before COVID than after COVID. It was a lot different. Like before COVID, I would be on teleconferences and go see people in person. And then after Zoom, like everybody Zoomed. We even Zoomed people in town. And like, you just like miss that personal, like, and then you'd see yourself back in the camera. And like, and then, so it was like, kind of like you were focused more on yourself and not in the moment with the person. And so, yeah, so I did that for a good 2 or 3 years. My husband can attest to it. Like I would lock my door during 2020 and kids would be screaming in the background. I'd be like, hush, I am on a Zoom. Like if I had $1 for every time I said that. But anyways, so all that to say, I don't know, just being at a storefront, having, my life be more compartmentalized, it's just been a dream. And I encourage everyone, if they haven't, got out now of that job that you're not growing anymore, take the leap of faith, do something different, do something that like you want to be proud of at the end of the day.
That your 16-year-old will think is cool.
Amen, sister.
Amen. Well, I got a great question here from Yucca Studios. They said, we've been asking ourselves which character trait is more important for an entrepreneur, consistency or adaptability?
Well, I think consistency, both, but
Drew thinks that too.
But, oh, good. Because like that's so much a part of building the brand. Because people grow to trust, and consistency. That's why I love my husband. He's the most consistent. That's the one thing that you need to get him here too at some point. I don't know, he's not a founder, but he works with the founder. Anyways, I think consistency because that's all part of building a good brand. And, yeah.
Speaking of branding, you have a background in communications, but like you said, that was back when you were figuring out how to lay out a newspaper. Well, things have really changed a lot. And especially for an operation like a gift shop, that marketing is very crucial so that people are aware. How has that journey been?
So it's like I have those qualities innately. I am not good at a lot of things. Like I'm not, and I'm learning that. The website is hard for me,
Websites are hard.
I'm a creative, but I can communicate and I can watch what other people are doing and like innately like can create. And so it's been really fun. I have like paid for a lot of apps that help you make reels. And that's been helpful. I, boost things. I mean, it's a game that I'm learning. But so far, what I've been putting into it, marketing, as far as the efforts and the funds, I mean, it's paying off. I mean, we're off. I feel like we're hitting our momentum right here before Christmas. And I can't even remember your question now.
You answered it.
Okay.
You answered it, essentially. And then also speaking of technology, another large part of a gift shop that you're exploring is now e-commerce, which
Right,
is a
yes.
different ballgame, but could be the main source of revenue for your store. How is that going?
Well, thank you so much for bringing that up, because I think that was on the planning for 2025.
Yeah.
And I kind of glazed over that. But yeah, so what we're planning on moving forward, of course, is like continuing the pop-ups. But our big thing right now, and I was hoping to have it up already by today, but again, that's one thing I'm learning with business is sometimes things, take longer than what you want them to take. But to be patient, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But yeah, so we want to be fully integrated e-commerce, and that's curbside. We want to be in person, curbside, or we own a UPS store right next door. We need to figure out the shipping. It only makes sense because we just walk it right next door, and then it, I guess it benefits our other business too, in a sense, but also it provides a service to customers, because I have had people, like initially I was marketing to people on Instagram and Facebook just within the Midland area, because I was focusing on getting those in person. And then I was like, well, I'll just see what it's like to market to people like with common interests. And so I started having people from all over follow me, and the reels and the videos that I'm doing. And they've asked me, are you shipping? And I'm like, we're working on it, stay tuned. So that's definitely, thank you so much for bringing that up. I feel like you read my presentation better than I did in some sense. But yeah, so yeah, definitely want to go fully integrated e-commerce. That's the future, right? So thank you.
Does anybody have any questions in the audience here? Any questions? Well, I have another question. You touched on, and then we'll wrap it up here to be cognizant and you guys having to get back to work. So much of being an entrepreneur, I think, yes, there's the day-to-day grind, but a lot of it does still just come down to one thing, and that's relationships. How have you implemented the importance of relationships into your business?
Well, like I said, with consistency, yeah, I just think that your customers are your friends, and if you go into each relationship and every interaction that you have with your customers as if they were your friend, it's pretty simple. You want the best for them. And I just feel like karma is a funny thing, like you put it out there. And I just think that's the way it works. You're an advocate for other businesses, it'll come back on you. You're a friend to a person, they'll come back to you. And I'm already starting to see that. And then also funny things are like, I'll ask them their name. I only ask their name and their cell phone and their birthday. And I told them I'm not going to text you a lot because I don't want to overuse that. But I do want to recognize their birthday because we're a gift store. And then also I just think that when someone remembers your birthday, it's like, wow, they really care about me. Or, get to know whatever it is. That's what my husband, I always tell him, I love people because I love figuring out whatever makes them unique and then just celebrating that. And so I think if you could do that with your customers, I don't know, they'll be your friend. And
yeah,
it.
I was picking up on that even in our meeting, the way that a customer would walk into the store and so much of owning a gift shop that I didn't realize is kind of reading people's energy and figuring out what are they looking at, or being open to feedback. Oh, do you have this? No, but I haven't heard of that. Let me look into that. And figuring out what people want. And again, that comes back down to relationships.
Right, and also providing lines that are different from other gift stores in town. That's important. I mean, I love the gift stores we have in town. They're geographically different. We just have different lines, and that's one thing that I've learned through research is there's a lot out there, and if you can just lift up those businesses that you think are doing good things, advocating for them, spreading their message, it'll benefit your business, and that's what we're doing here at Founders Blend, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
thank you, Sammy.
We've got one last question here, and I think it fits this conversation. Customizable gifts are a big part of West Texas culture. I mean, the oil and gas industry loves to give gifts to one another, but nobody wants another hat, even though that's what we gave you guys last year. But you're trying to figure out, what do people like? What is well received? Client gifts are a huge thing for a lot of businesses out there. How expansive would you say is your customizable gift selection? If a business comes to you and they're like, hey, we want this for a client, can you help them with that?
I would say yes. But
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, again, every person and every customer is different. And so that's how I go into every transaction. For instance, my mom last week had a friend that had her for a golf trip. Like, my dad went in to play golf. It was in Horseshoe Bay. And she was like, I want to send her a thank you. So we were like, okay, so we have these cute napkins, that are golf themed. And then my sister-in-law she's an engraver, like I said, styrofoam cups. And then we have like a cocktail infuser. And we did all these things that you would use on a golf course and put it into a little a basket and sent it to her. And she loved it because it had to do with that experience that they had together, and how moving forward it could be better, or celebrate it again. So, so I just think that if the business comes to us and has an idea, of course we're going to work and fulfill it.
Yeah. Well, you've been fairly new at this, only since September.
Yes.
What is your one advice to new business in the room? Keep it short and simple. What advice would you give them?
And this is where maybe adaptability comes in, is every day is a new day, and always try to look at your children objectively, or your baby, try to step back and just constantly improve. I never thought I would think so much about under cabinet lighting, or just the little things. How can I make it better? How can customers experience this in a happier way? And if you just keep your mission and your values, and your brand, and you don't overthink things, you'll have a good business. That's my founder's tip.
I love it.
Tag you're it.
Tag you're it.
Yes.
Well, let's give Elizabeth a round of applause.
Thank you.